We're broadcasting live. It's happening.
It's happening.
Get your bells out. Bells and whistles.
Get them out. Get them out. Happy Odin's Day.
Happy what?
Happy Odin's Day.
Wednesday. Odin's Day.
Odin's Day. Wednesday.
I'm going to check us out here. I wanted to see how we looked. And in case anybody commented in. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. If anybody's joining us, and hopefully at least one or two people are.
I got a Kelly Fox in the room. We got a Kelly Fox in the room. I love you, Kelly.
Woo woo. Hello, Kelly. Are we ready to get this party started tonight?
I think so. I think everybody's ready for some chakra talk.
Awesome. We're going to go ahead and address the root chakra, and we've already talked about it a little bit before. The Muladhara stands for a root foundation or root basis, basically, and it really is. It's basically one of the most important chakras. At least I think so. Not everybody feels the same way, but it's just I'm speaking from personal experience here. It's basically. It's behavioral characteristics. It's all about survival. It's about safety. It's about security. It's about grounding. So,
wait a second. First of all, who is this pretty woman talking right now? This pretty witch. I want to introduce your beautiful self.
Oh, thank you, darling. I'm Delia Ivette. For many of you who know me. Feng Shui Witch, amongst other things.
A master Feng Shui practitioner.
Slightly. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Taurus and a sensual foodie.
A sensual foodie, yes. We've had many conversations about that before, you and I.
That's right. And she's been to my house and she's helped me Feng Shui things up. And we have every single night at 7 o'clock, we have red lights automatically come on in our bedroom.
Oh,
yeah. Suggested that we needed that right in that space, and it's so beautiful.
Absolutely, spark up your relationship sector.
Ooh, yeah.
Has it been working?
And it was the red. It's the red. The red. So it's going back to that root chakra. The root.
Yes. Absolutely.
Think about you every time when I walk past the room and I see that those red lights are on. So I'm so grateful to be doing this chakra talk with you and to have all of your wisdom.
Thank you. Yes. So the root chakra is just very important to me, only because it's linked to our lineage and our ancestry, and so all of our earliest experiences are recorded here. So. Maybe not just yours, but as well as your parents and your parents' parents are also get passed on to you. And they all sit here and they manifest in many different forms. And it manifests in the most third dimensional realm. And I think it's very important because a lot of people are being challenged in this area. Your finances, all your survival skills, your security, your safety, all of that is being challenged right now. I mean, I know many people who are struggling with everything that's happening. And so why not start there? Why not start with the root? Why not start with the foundation? What does it look like when it's unhealthy? And what does it look like when it is healthy? I mean, not everyone has an unbalanced chakra, but I mean, your chakra is not balanced all the time. Things happen in your life. And experiences happen.
Would it be something that where you might do a root chakra balancing meditation and notice a shift, and then like a couple of hours later you can actually notice it unbalance again, or how does that?
Absolutely, trauma can definitely create a shift, a change of scenery when you're constantly moving around from one place to another. It's basically, it's imbalance of the root chakra, or it does imbalance your root chakra in some form or way. And it's very important. It's very important to address it because there's a lot of behavioral patterns that you can recognize if it is unbalanced, and then where to take it from there. What tools do we have? We have meditation. We have different foods that you can take. You can change your diet. You can go ahead and start having affirmations. You can use essential oils. You can use sound. There's so many forms of medicine out there, and I feel like people should be aware. People should sit and kind of reassess themselves and go, hey, like, do I am I experiencing that in the slightest form, or maybe I wasn't, and all of a sudden I am. I feel like it's important.
Okay, so I would like to come at this chakra talk. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm
Yeah.
Jennifer Biondo, the smell sorceress, and I am a hypnotherapist, and I'm a wellness advocate for doTERRA essential oils. And I actually found my medicine in the doTERRA oils, and I realized it was more like I remembered where I came from, and the plant medicine just speaks to me and it makes sense. And so I actually really am so grateful for doTERRA for like turning on, and because of the business and because of the company, it's allowed me to attract the witches, and I've attracted my community. So not only did the plants, are they not only healing me from the inside out, but it's a ripple effect into all of the things that I've wanted to manifest in my life, which is community. Um, and so I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the modern witch movement. I'm grateful for Yoga Galactica. A little shout out.
Yeah, that is Yoga Galactica.
Oh, good.
That's where
And
we really connected. Modern witch movement, witch camp, and Yoga Galactica was like a culmination of places where we kept seeing each other and we just kept connecting through the oils and how we can heal each other and how we can heal ourselves, more importantly.
yeah, and I think that's one thing that I really want to talk about. You brought up how right now we have a lot of fear around safety and security, and every single thing that we're being challenged with right now is about safety and it's about security. And I think that we're all getting back to like getting our, when we get triggered or when we feel unsafe, it's like our root chakra gets knocked out of alignment. So
Absolutely.
know what a root chakra is or what chakras are. So we just want to, what was that? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we just want to explain a little bit what chakras are. And I mean, I'm sure most of you are knowledgeable enough on chakras. They're vortex of energy that are within our system. And if they're all in alignment, we can channel great energies and great messages. But it's important to pay attention to them as much as you pay attention to, say, your hair or your nails or your skin.
I love that.
Yes, absolutely. You start from the inside out or you start from the outside, in either way, but it'll manifest in a physical form. So if your chakras are healthy in any way, shape, or form, it will manifest physically, and you will start developing characteristics, and you'll start seeing patterns. But like I said, not everyone experiences them all the time. It's just a matter of what sort of trauma you've been experiencing and what sort of trauma your ancestors experienced as well, because you could be completely fine, but you could be carrying stuff from your lineage and trauma from their childhood that maybe it's time for you to heal.
So one thing that happens for me when as you're talking about it is like I'm getting triggered because I'm thinking about all of those ways and times that show up in my subconscious programming, that scarcity programming clicks in and it starts playing, right?
Absolutely.
And I can become unconscious and not aware of how my mind is operating and what patterns I'm thinking, and then creating more of the same, and it becomes like a snowball effect. And what I've noticed for me is that when my body's always talking to me. So I can feel if something's out of alignment after I've been ignoring it, because it always comes up in my mind if I have the awareness of what my mind is doing. But if I don't have the awareness of what my mind is doing and give my mind what it needs, which is usually like some deep breaths, some silence, some smells,
Yeah.
some in with my body. So what you're saying is like, just as we look at our hair, just as we look at our eyes, like how does my face look right now? We're all kind of consumed with what it's like on the outside, but it's really important. And I think I would love to teach people, and this maybe be like an introduction into just coming and tuning in to yourself and your own vibration and where you are at energetically, and how you can help to heal yourself. And once we heal ourselves, then as we share, we're able to heal everyone around us.
Absolutely. We're able to share all of that beautiful energy with everybody else. I agree. Absolutely.
I have this sheet here that I use a lot of times for chakras, and just to like go over some basic things, and then maybe you can like, I just kind of want to like, if it was like chakras for dummies, kind of.
I love that card.
Right. And so I just like this because it's just very like simple. It does tell us some oils and some crystals, and we're only gonna, it's like can get overwhelming. We're literally just talking about this one tonight. So this is the only one we need to worry about. We're going to take a week, 2 weeks, a month. We're going to really marinate in our first chakra and check in with ourselves, because if the first chakra gets in alignment, like Yvette was saying, it's the most important chakra. We think, I believe that as well. And if this one gets out of balance, all these guys get out of balance.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's all like, should we take a moment and take a deep breath?
Absolutely.
Do it. All right, I'm going to sit Indian style. Anybody else can sit comfortable, or maybe put your feet on the ground, because the first chakra is also about being grounded, right? We want to be grounded in our bodies. I'm going to take a little bit of balance essential oil. Do you have that one, Yvette? Or are you being drawn to a different one?
Let me check if I do. I do have balance.
Okay, let's do it together. Okay, ready?
Ready?
Put it on the palm of my hands.
Yeah, very little on mine, so I'm gonna put the remains of my balance here.
Whatever you gotta do, girl.
I gotta rev up on that balance.
Pick it up. I'm not mad at you. So I'm gonna rub it together, and I'm gonna take some deep inhalations. This is gonna force me to take a deep breath, even though I love it.
I can already smell it.
So good. It's like trees.
It is like trees, very grounding, very sappy.
And dirt. It smells like trees and dirt. Do you
smell like chewy a little bit? Yeah, very dirt. Like it's making my mouth water.
If anybody else has balance out there, get it, or any oils that feel grounding to you. Just put it in. Take a deep inhalation. Even if you don't, just imagine like we put a little like you took pine needles from a tree and you rubbed them in between your hands, and then you took its smell. Imagine what it would smell like if you don't have oils. And then you want to try to breathe into your body, and then just feel like your womb space, go into your womb space. And then you're going to even pass that up, and you're going to go more into like growing roots out of your womb space into your legs, like you have roots growing out of your womb space into your legs, and then into the earth, as if your toes were to be growing roots. So much comes up for me that when you talk about the root chakra, and you talked about my lineage, and that feels a little overwhelming, because I'm like, I'm just trying to fucking function in today. Like I'm trying to fucking get this moment right now. And when I hear you talk about even lineages and lifetimes and things like that, I'm like, oh my gosh. But what you're also saying, I think, and what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling in my body when you say that, is that everything I'm feeling right now is like a repeat. It's a pattern. It's a pattern of the lineage. And like, if we can interrupt the pattern, even just a tiny bit, teeny, tiny bit, and have that much more awareness and shift in a little bit of a way, we're already manifesting out of the generational curses or evolution or whatever that means.
Yeah.
We're
healing our ancestry. We're healing ancestry. You know, before us, we're healing our children's futures as well. It's not just us. I feel like I mean, you and I have talked about lineage and ancestry, and we've talked about it. You know, it comes up often in Yoga Galactica because we're doing a lot of root chakra work, because we're doing a lot of dance movement, and it's associated with the root chakra.
Yeah, the Kundalini energy, right? The
Kundalini, absolutely. We do tons of Kundalini. We get barefoot. I mean, all of that stuff just really comes up, and when you start talking about it,
raise the roof, feet. Raise the roof.
When you start talking about it, I feel the same way. I feel like I'm not just working on myself. I'm working on past lives, on working on my mother's lineage, my grandmother's grandmothers, and I'm also healing, you know, future lineage for. I mean, I don't have any children, but for my sisters and their children and their children's children. So, you know, you think maybe you're just, you know, smelling a little bit of oils, or you're just meditating a little bit and you're changing your diet slightly, but you're doing much more than that. And a little bit of everything just really kind of, you know, it's a vortex within the vortex within the vortex. And then all of a sudden, everything just kind of starts to really make a lot of sense. And then you start having better relationships with your family, because that's also associated with the root chakra. And then you start having better relationship with yourself, and you start having better relationship with your pets and your neighbors and everyone that's around you. It's beneficial in so many ways. It's not just about, you know, meditating is not for everyone. Oils is not for everyone. Mudras and mantras is not for everyone, but maybe one or two or three, like choose one or two of these that just really call out to you, and practice them and challenge yourself.
Fuck yes. Woo!
Absolutely. The root chakra is hard. I think the root chakra, I've done a lot of Kundalini yoga, and I've done a lot of root chakra work, and chakra work has made me cry so much. And a lot of the times I didn't understand why there was just so much coming, but there was just so much energy that was kind of sitting stagnant, and it was being released in this way. And I felt so much better. I felt happier. I felt more connected to myself. I felt like I immediately wanted to call my mom and see how she was doing. It was really interesting. It was a very interesting work. The root chakra is very interesting. It's a lot of stuff is going to come up. It's not going to be all nice and pretty. It's going to make you very, very uncomfortable. But I mean, why not? Why the fuck not? Why not?
God,
why now? Why not now?
I think what I've noticed and is that people are fucking terrified to feel anything.
Absolutely.
And I think that when we are brave enough to like walk into the fires, the flames of the root chakra and those emotions that are being penned away, like there's a huge awakening going on. I think a lot happened in the United States when the Me Too movement started. And like, you know, not to get into politics because I'm not going to go deep into this, but it was an awakening for the woman to like be like, wait, what the fuck? Like this shit has got to stop. And
absolutely.
that goes through the lineage too. And there's like a lot of different ways that kind of sexual trauma, however got introduced, and really look at that. And like also when we're looking at stuff on the media and we're being triggered by it, I think it's important to also check in, because it's usually our safety because the fear is being fed, and our safety
and security, absolutely.
Yeah, our safety is being ripped away from us, and or it feels that way. You know, it's like all of our things that we thought were safe are absolutely being like revealed, and so it's
our really, money, our jobs.
Yeah, and a matter of like checking in and being like, what's my belief in this thing? What's my belief in this thing? Not what everybody else's belief is in it. And what's that programming, and taking in like those different stories and really checking in with myself and being like, what is the truth? And this is really starting to tap us into our intuition, right?
Absolutely.
So important, I think, I mean, it all just gets heightened when we start doing any kind of self-work. And going back to what you were saying, as far as, you know, we see that we're helping to heal our families and our families' and ourselves, and how you'll notice it in the relationships with your family and the relationship with yourself. But for me, and what I've learned, the most important relationship is the one with myself.
Absolutely.
Like I've noticed that, you know, loneliness is also another thing. And does that fall into the root chakra? Would it, loneliness?
Absolutely. So yes. So an unbalanced chakra is basically a sense of like not belonging, a sense of feeling out of place, and sort of loneliness, some form of depression and anxiety in some form. Those are all ways that the imbalance of the root chakra will manifest itself. I mean, you feel fearful, you feel like security, your survivals, you just feel very ungrounded. It's very, very emotionally unstable, and you feel like you 1 minute you're crying, and the next minute you're laughing, and the next minute you're you're feeling both of the things at the same time. You're feeling everything and anything, and then you're angry, and you really don't know why. And it's okay to experience those things, every now and then. But if you are constantly feeling very flighty, and you're constantly feeling like you don't belong, and like you're not grounded enough, that you don't know really where you're going, those are all ways that your root chakra can manifest itself in an imbalanced way. So maybe you should look into that. Maybe you should try to meditate. Maybe you should. And meditation doesn't necessarily mean, sitting somewhere with your eyes closed. I meditate when I'm driving a lot, and it's just
dance meditation. I know you and I are like fucking
oh,
dance meditation.
absolutely. Dance meditation is essential for the root chakra, and it doesn't come from a place of ego. So by dance meditation, when we do what we do in Yoga Galactica, is great teachings there, which is bless you, which is where we basically dance, and we ecstatically dance, and no one's really judging anybody else, no one's really looking at anybody else. And so this form of dance has to come basically, where you're by yourself, where nobody else is watching, so there's no ego involved. So there's nothing like, maybe somebody else is going to watch me, I may not be doing it right, or maybe what they might be thinking of me. It's very important to just kind of break out and dance when you're by yourself. It's really important for the root chakra. I don't know if everybody else does that, but every now and then I
totally, yeah. And like also some of the things I like when I'm dancing, and it's interesting because I feel like I've always loved to dance since I was little. And to me, when I do the ecstatic dance, or the dance where it's like it's not for anybody, it's tribal. Like I feel like I do get in contact with the lineage, and like it's just like if I feel the oneness for me when I dance from my base, from my root, and like I'll pound into the floor and feel my feet as they like hit the ground, and like I just feel that grounding, because oftentimes we're stuck from like here up, stuck, and it just really helps to get into that body and then release. And like you'll think of tribes and things like that when things are awful, and like your whole village has been destroyed, or there's complete war, all kinds of horrible things happen for indigenous people and tribes, just living off the land. And when things get really hard, they have ritual, and they dance, and they move their bodies. Our bodies get stuck with all of this stuff, where the emotions we are repressing and suppressing are getting stuck in our bodies. It's scary, you know what I mean? Because I can feel it when it happens to me, and I start getting achy. My knees have been hurting lately, and my knees, I'm like always very excited about how strong and agile my knees are, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with my knees? So I have to like
Same here. I've been having issues with my knees lately. I went on a really small hike, and I wore a knee brace on my left knee because that's my not so good knee. And then I came down, and my right knee was like, ow, what happened to me?
Dude.
And I was so now I have 2 knee braces, one on each one. But isn't it really strange how like this whole thing started with the quarantine, and everyone's survival and safety and securities being challenged? Everyone's doing all these live dances and DJ sets. Isn't that really interesting?
Well, and
we are instinctively like knowing what's best for us. Everybody's getting out, and everybody's hiking into nature. There's going to the beach. Everybody's having dances everywhere.
The people that we know, and this is the thing, is like the people that we know, we have been in this healing world. Like we have attracted a community of healers. Like we roll with healing people that they are concerned about their body and their well-being, and they're doing what they can preventatively in their life. And it's like we were suiting up for this kind of situation and compiling all these tools. But not everybody has, like, they don't know about earthing. If you can go outside and lay in the grass, how you can get charged up from the earth. You know what I mean? And it's important that these conversations go outside of a witch circle, you know what I mean? And teach everyone about connecting with nature, connecting with their body. You're your own best friend, because as I was
Absolutely.
saying with the loneliness that came up, and I saw Vanita suggest us use cedarwood, and cedarwood is one of the oils for the root chakra, and cedarwood is the oil of community. And I think a lot of us right now, for me, like fuck money. I mean, I love, I mean, abundance, come to me, I'm with you, we are one. And my community, I'm an extrovert. Like I want to be sitting with you right now and to be able to like grab your arm and laugh and hold you because we're connecting on the same thing, you know. And I feel like I can't do that, so I'm feeling like my community or my touch and that is being taken away from me. And so I need to, like, this is an inside job, like I need to go within and give myself what I need, because this is what I'm being called to do. and
Absolutely.
and so, but if I tap into cedarwood, the oil of community, it's the oil of community.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
And mine too. I love it so much. I love it so much. And it helps you sleep. If you have trouble sleeping, you can put it on your big toe. I don't have trouble sleeping, but I'm still gonna.
Ooh, really?
Yes, yes.
Oh, huh?
Have you had trouble sleeping lately?
I have been having trouble sleeping lately. My sleeping patterns have been disturbed, and I find myself at 3:30 in the morning. Like, I gotta be up at 6, like 3 hours of sleep. And then I'm feeling like crap the next day because I only had 3 hours of sleep, but I couldn't help it because I just couldn't sleep. Just all cracked out and thinking about things that I shouldn't be thinking about, like my safety and my security.
And your root chakra gets all
And my root chakra.
because that's what we're. What do? So you notice that that was happening, and you notice that it's not right now. We're talking about it now, so it might evolve. Maybe you'll check back with us tomorrow. But were you spinning? Would you say your mind was spinning?
Absolutely.
So
I couldn't shut it off.
And what I find is hard is that we know all these tools, and this is why we need each other, is because I need to remind you, because you know, you already know, but when we're in the state, when we're been triggered, then we forget all of our tools. So like I hope that somebody's popping on this live right now and like hearing exactly what they need to hear and remembering their tools, whatever they are. Maybe they're not our tools, but we're reminding you to use your tools and to ground in to yourself.
There's more than one tool. There's more than 5 tools. I feel like there's a gazillion tools out there. Just find what suits your what suits you better. It's not everything for everyone. Some people are just very sensitive to oils, and some people just can't do oils. They can't. The smells is just too much for them. But I am all about the oils.
Well,
the oils can work for me immediately.
I'm so glad you said that, because one of the things that I also would like to just put out there is that I think a lot of people will be like, I tried essential oils and they didn't work. You know what I mean? I think that there are people that, I'm just going to say, have not tried doTERRA essential oils. And even if you have tried doTERRA essential oils, you maybe did them wrong. Right. And so it's a matter of like education is so important. Like if you're investing in it, it's almost like a new lifestyle, you know. It's plant medicine. We are introducing a new kind of medicine. People are so used to like, I got a headache, I'm gonna go get an Advil, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not like, I know that my little song and dance seemed like I was judging it, but because I've been there and it didn't.
I've been there.
It's never seemed, and sometimes I still go there. I mean, there are times that I'm like, I just need to function right now, and I need to feel okay right now to get through this thing I need to get through. So I'm gonna take a NyQuil for like one time because I need those 3 hours to sleep or whatever. But I'm still gonna use my oils because that's the thing that's healing me faster, right? That's the thing that's helping me recover faster. Now that's the medicine that all of a sudden resonated with me, and it help and teach other people about it. And a lot of times, if you've tried essential oils before, you were trying something that it was synthetic. It was adulterated. You know what I mean? It wasn't really from the plant. It was, maybe they had it's not regulated from FDA, or it's just not regulated essential oils.
There's tons of unregulated oils out there.
You could put anything you want into it, and you can say whatever you want on the label. You can say 100% pure. You can say organic. You can say all those things, but when they're actually tested and you test all the chemical constituents in the plant and you make sure that there's not been any synthetics added, oftentimes there has been. And I'll tell you, an essential oil, put on the bottom of your foot, 1 drop, penetrates your bloodstream in 30 seconds. You have essential oils. You have plants.
I have been penetrated.
You have been penetrated by plants. penetrated by some cedar wood right now. And I'm feeling good.
I'm mighty happy.
Yeah.
Not complaining one bit. I love
Yeah.
it. Absolutely love it.
I know I can go off on tangents, and that's kind of what this is about, guys. We have no real structure here. We just wanted to like openly talk about chakras.
Yeah, we're no experts. We just love them.
Yeah, and we have no intention of like, we have all the intention, I should say. It's more about choosing the intention. Not the, our intention is to hopefully inspire you to love yourself and to go within and to and heal without, and then share it with us, because we want to know and we want you to share it with everybody else, because it's so important. So I'm going to talk about this sheet for a moment, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I feel like I'm talking really fast. Sometimes I get really excited and I talk really fast. I'm okay?
You're doing great, right, dog.
Thank you. Okay, so clearing and balancing your chakras. So some people call it clearing, some call it balancing. Do you know the difference? Is there a difference or just the same? I
mean, it's just the same. I mean, when you're clearing it of the negative energy, then you're inviting the positive energy, which in return balances the chakras.
Oh, so perfect. I love the way you said that. Okay, chakras can be imbalanced by becoming blocked, underactive, or over-intense, overactive. When this happens, our being as a whole is imbalanced, often leading to illness and or emotional blocks and creating an unhealthy environment. The following chart can help you determine the well-being and balance of your chakra. So this is great because we've been talking about it, and now maybe while I talk about this, the audience can check in with what I'm saying and see if anything that we're talking about resonates. Eventually, we would love to bring on an audience member, maybe that wants to talk about their root chakra, or
yes,
or come on, jump on in and be a part of the conversation. So, okay, the root chakra is, like you were saying, Yvette, just to piggyback on that, is survival, security, and stability.
Yes.
So I'd like everybody to just take a moment to think about like where they stand in their body, in their mind, in their spirit with their survival. And then let's breathe into that. Like, don't be afraid of like what it brings up for you to think about survival, because I'm going to tell you one thing, because in this moment right now, right here, right now, where we are safe. Right here, right now, in this moment, we are safe. And we are going to be triggered all the time, but then check back in with the moment, because the moment is where the safety is. The moment is in the breath you take, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one quick switch. And then so security, right? Security to me really feels financial. Does that feel financial to you?
It does, but I mean, it also, I mean, it has to do with not just, money. It has to do with food, and it has to do with housing and, I mean, employment.
Yeah. So yeah, all that to me feels security. It was just like, because our for me, security is about that survival part, is where it's like, I'm going to have a place to live. I'm going to be taken care of. One thing that's really been inspiring me to be in more abundance and to create like a bigger life than I've ever had is that I really want to be able to afford natural health care. Like, to me, I feel unsafe because at this point in time, the money that it takes to pay for people that I trust, the naturopathic, the holistic doctors, the ones that don't take insurance, those ones are the ones that I want to go to. I want them to be able to tell me everything about my blood, where my body's at, and get me, to help me in that arena. So I guess my security is also stability, is that I also don't trust my medical system, is where I feel. So this is where my root chakra, I think, and maybe can contribute to something I'll get to in a moment. But I just want to, I hope you don't mind that I go off it a little bit. It's just that I want to express from my own personal experience, because maybe from how I see it or the way I'm experiencing it might be similar or might be relatable.
It manifests different for everyone, and there's a lot of ways it can manifest. So, by all means, would love to hear your experience.
So it's located at the base of the spine. And so for me, a lot of the stuff we do in Kundalini yoga or in, I'm going to sit on my little poof, and Yoga Galactica, and anybody I know that's into Kundalini. But you see right here, we have our spine, kind of like where our tailbone ends, right? That's where I always visualize it. Does that feel right? And so like when we do these like Sufi grinds, it feels
I
like
love those.
it's starting to like, it reminds me of like a coil, like a corkscrew. And then I like to unwind the other part, and it feels like it's just moving the energy up, which is where like you start to get the Kundalini energy, right?
Yes.
And then this one too, the cat cow. So one of the things I've heard is just doing cat cow every single day.
I love cat cow.
Dude.
Cat cow does this really intense thing to like, you know, my body and like my mind every time I'm doing it. And it's I feel really, really grounded and really lightheaded when I'm done doing it. It's one of my favorite poses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. I hear it's like just really
good one.
It's like you're as flexible as your spine is. So it's right. You're as flexible. And also just to tell you about the knees is all about flexibility and being flexible in your life. And like, so we'll get to that. Let me just get. We can
go on and on.
Okay, so we have it's the color red.
Yes.
You actually remind me of like the root of a balanced root chakra. You
it's
just
not
always
balanced, but
yes.
Well, try.
Well, even just wearing the color helps, right?
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite colors, and it does make me feel grounded, and it makes me feel like I am in charge, not in a negative way, not in like, you know, I'm the boss way, but in a very commanding way, very secure and very sure of myself. I feel, you know, it, and it's really interesting because the root chakra is an element of earth, but it is fed by fire. So it's really interesting how it just kind of like it. I do feel like it feeds me something, and I just feel like I'm just ready to go. Which is, I mean, I'm gonna be wearing the colors of the chakra as we continue to do this. But this is my favorite one to do so far because I get to wear all the red that I want.
Oh, I love it, and I love you in red. It's like one of my favorites for you. I wear these pants. They're well, pants. I said pants, but
I love them.
You can't see my panties. I could do a headstand. You can't see my panties. I'm wearing a dress. So
yes. I love you.
These are like orangish red, but they have both colors. And I felt like my first and second chakras, I've been working on my second chakra, I feel like 3 years. Since I had a baby, I think is when it's really been working on that. And the root chakra, but I think I've been maybe too scared to go to the root chakra in general. So I'm skirting at the second and I'm dipping back and forth. Does that make sense?
I love it. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
It's
and they feed off each other, you know, and the reason why you keep dipping into the root chakra is because your second chakra, you know, benefits from that root chakra being balanced. And it's not until that root chakra is in balance that that second chakra will be, you know, completely healed. And so they just, you know, they feed off of each other. They go hand in hand. And you know, oftentimes when there's a chakra that's imbalanced, the chakra above it and right below it will also have some form of issues, and they also need to be addressed. So that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so stones, crystals. What do you got? You have something? Show me something. Yes. What is this one?
I have smoky quartz.
Wow.
I was trying to get my bloodstone, but I can't find it for some reason. I had like three or four of those, but I cannot find my bloodstone. I have smoky quartz, and all my other stones are pretty. Wait, I have red jasper.
Look at that.
Which is great for your root chakra as well.
Wow, I love that.
I love stones too. I feel a connection just as much as I do with oils. And I believe I started working with stones before I even got introduced to oils, and that was one of my first tools there, besides meditation. And they work for me. They might not work for everyone, but they definitely work for me. And they're very grounding, and they all have different powers or different healing purposes. I won't say powers, but because it's a little too much here for people. But
this is Chakra Witch movement, girl. You could tell the people about the powers of the rocks. It's okay.
This shit's powerful.
I have this one. This is my favorite. It's a carnelian.
Oh my god, I love carnelian.
Dude, this one. I can't find my camera on this thing, which is like.
Yes, carnelian. Get your carnelian on. I really do love carnelian.
Oh, I love it so much.
I do
I
too.
love any kind of rock. So like I can meditate using like if I find that was my first meditation. I didn't know anything about these guys, these awesome beauties. And I would just literally find rocks on hikes and I would put them on my body. They just helped me feel grounded, really, for reals.
I love it. Yeah. I'm a total stoner.
Me too. I love it. Okay, so then we also have the crystals are bloodstone, garnet, ruby. I love a ruby. I want a ruby. I don't have one, but I want one.
I have some rubies. I have my rubies. It's one of my favorites actually. I have a really tiny ruby stone, and I have a little spell that I like to use when I'm getting ready to go out, and it's kind of like an energizing spell. And I basically just kind of use that ruby stone to put in my drink that I am drinking as I'm getting ready to go out.
Ooh. Whoa, that's pretty wild. Pretty wacky. You're not afraid you're gonna swallow it?
No. It's it's not super tiny, but it's it's small enough that it can fit in the glass and I can drink it.
Cute. You're so
It
cute.
just energizes my drink and it makes me feel really fucking awesome on my way out. Even if I'm not wearing red, I feel like I drank the red.
Oh, that's adorable.
That feels good.
You're the best. Okay, so I'm going back. The essential oils that we would use would be basil, which also y'all taught me at witch camp. Basil is all about the money, right?
Yes, I love to use basil to put it on my money.
Okay.
My cash money. Basil, patchouli are my two favorites for my money. So what I do is I dilute it, and if I have a good amount of money carrying me around in my wallet, then I'll basically just kind of dilute both of those oils, and I'll douse all of my dollar bills, put them back into my wallet.
I want to check and see if those ones are most oils. A lot of oils are antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. You might have to bleep that out because the CDC and the FDA don't want me to be telling anybody that kind of shit. Bleep. At what time are we on here? But yeah. So most of them are. So that's awesome because not only are you getting the ritual aspect of it and creating the idea of more abundance and having your awareness and your gratitude for what's coming in your flow, but it's also could be sanitizing your money, which is awesome.
Right? And I do it to my business cards too. Interestingly enough, all my business cards get doused in oil.
I like that.
Whenever I buy a new wallet, it gets doused in patchouli and basil oil. Like the inside gets doused. Yay! I love that.
That's Yvette's card because she is a master feng shui practitioner. Look at that card. It's so beautiful. And I suppose it's been marinated in basil.
It has been basil and patchouli.
I love it. So basil also helps with adrenal fatigue.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I just want to let everybody know when you get super stressed out and you're overwhelmed and you're taking on too much shit, which is a lot of people, the adrenal fatigue can really get you. So it's something to be really careful of because if it gets really, really bad, it's you have to change your entire life. Like you get to be where you feel like you're not living, you feel like you're dying, and you have to change everything if you don't check it before it gets too bad. So basil helps with adrenal fatigue. It also helps with energy. So I'm going to take a little bit right now. I'm going to put a little drop.
How funny. Well, adrenal depletion is one of the ways that your unbalanced chakra will manifest. So if it's imbalanced in any way, will suffer from adrenal depletion.
Oh, damn. I wonder if that's on the list. I love that. It's not even on the list. See, this is why we have our specialist here.
There we go.
She passed the dummy guy. So so the essential oils are basil, cedarwood, the oil of community, which we already talked about, cilantro.
Love cilantro.
I didn't.
You say cilantro, I say cilantro.
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 Cilantro. So
I feel like Sofia Vergara when I say it.
4 years and I'm like, I hate cilantro. I'm not even buying it. And recently I'm like, okay, I need to get a little bit more flexible in my knees and I need to just get it. I just need to get it. So I got it and I've almost never used it. Like I never used it. And the other day I went to my magic bag and I pulled out what I thought was balance because it was in the old balance spot because I re-alphabetical ordered my bag. Let me show everybody my bag.
Does balance have cilantro in it?
No. So I accidentally grabbed the cilantro when I thought I was getting balance.
Surprise, surprise.
You're trying to avoid me, but I'm gonna get in your face. And then, of course, I spilled a little bit of it, or put it on the bottom of my feet, like I do balance every day. And then all of a sudden, my kid's blankets, because my kid has this little nest that he built right next between our bed, because he comes in the middle of the night, and I got cilantro all over his blankets. So like for like days. So like
I love it.
It was like a forced first chakra deep dive. All of a sudden, we're like, why are we crying? Because the cilantro forced you to address your root chakra that you avoiding.
I love it. I have a thing for cilantro. I put it on everything and anything, and I don't think it's just that I'm Mexican, because I know tons of Mexican people who don't care for cilantro, but I fucking love cilantro.
Dudes, I think we need to look up what it means in this book, my Bible.
Ooh. Yes. Why do I like it so much?
It's so good. I want to look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look it up for the people. Cilantro.
Cilantro. Ooh, I like how you rolled your R on that one. Cilantro.
Girl, thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, so it's the oil of... Oh, it was citronella. Look what I did. I almost read us the wrong one.
Ooh, citronella wants to come through and say something.
Yeah, that one actually has been coming up a lot for me. Like, for reals. I've been pulling it the Oracle oil way, and it's been coming up a lot, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's not the smell. Okay, cilantro is the oil of releasing control. All right, I'm going.
Ooh.
Do you have it right now or not?
I don't. I'm missing cilantro in my life. But you know what? Hold on. Hold on.
All right, I'm holding. Oh, look at you. We got the fresh.
I did put it on everything. I'm not kidding. Like this stays in my refrigerator for like a month.
Oh, that's a good way to store it. Thanks for that tip.
Yeah, this is Alton Brown's way of storing it. I usually put a Ziploc bag over it, and it keeps it a little longer, and it keeps the leaves a little fresher. But I have not put a Ziploc bag on it, and now you can see that it's turning slightly brown. But okay. I love cilantro.
All right, I'm gonna smell it while I read it. Are we all ready?
I'm gonna chew on a little bit while you read.
Yeah, if you hey, there you go, girl. If you don't have cilantro, imagine what it smells like, even if you don't like it. Like me, I'm gonna smell it right now, and I don't like it. Okay, releasing control. Cilantro facilitates a detoxification of negative emotions and debris. It is helpful in lightening one's load through the release of issues buried in the body, heart, and soul. Buried reminds me of first chakra business.
That's deep.
Okay, this shit gets real deep. This book goes so deep. Put your butt
to
sleep.
Deep?
Are you falling asleep over
Root
there?
chakra deep.
Similar to coriander. It's similar to coriander oil, which is distilled from the seeds and of the same plant. Interesting. Coriander.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Of the same plant. Cilantro assists individuals in shedding what is not in harmony with their true self. Oh, can I get an amen?
I'll be right back. No wonder I can't get enough of it.
Dude, okay, so those in need of cilantro may attempt to obsessively control other people or manage their environment. Inwardly, these individuals may experience a great deal of worry and mental strain. They may become constricted, clingy to, or obsessing over material possessions. Individuals may even hold on to the very patterns, emotions, issues, and possessions that may impair or betray their true self. Interesting.
Oh, I love that. Like a little self-sabotaging?
Yeah, well, and it's like also like you better check yourself with the hoarder situation, because that also happens. We got to do something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty good about letting go of shit.
Yeah, you're amazing at that. Yeah. Yeah, that part didn't ring true for me on you. But
But I'm definitely like overthinker. I mean, like I do control in some form. I guess I'm a little bit of a control freak sometimes, but
I think we can all get that way.
I'm trying. I swear I'm trying.
Control yourself, Taurus. Put the food away. I'm just kidding. You can eat the whole time. I would be cool with it. Okay, the last little paragraph is cilantro facilitates emotional cleansing and especially encourages the release of worry and control as it assists individuals in centering in their true self. This is fucking everything. I feel like making cilantro samples for everybody.
I love it. Yeah.
Cilantro liberates the soul from heavy burdens, enabling the individual to live light and free. So now I'm not just going to say you're going to smell this oil and all of a sudden, woohoo, light and free. You go to use the oil with an intention. Like you want to like,
absolutely.
This is how this is going to help me. This is, and as I read this and I smell it, I'm anchoring in that intention.
Have some fucking intention. You are the magic. This is just a tool.
True that. And that is what being a witch is all about right there. So that is cilantro. It also goes well. Oh, it says if you're feeling the negative emotions of controlling, toxic, constricted, obsessive, compulsive, clingy, worried, trapped. I mean, I think we could all relate to at least one of those words.
Checking off my list here.
Okay. I can't believe, have you ever gotten it yet from your doTERRA account? Cilantro?
No, it's on my list.
Yeah, we gotta get
white fir and cedarwood.
Oh, white fir is also white fir. Actually, you can't get anymore because there was no longer a sustainable way to get it. Listen, we do this. We get upset when something's not available. But the beauty of a doTERRA, one of the other reasons that I absolutely love them, and I will intermittently do doTERRA commercials because I think everybody and it needs to experience the magic that is doTERRA. But they will not source something if it's not sustainable. So they have to check, like they have to go through like world inventory, right? World inventory. How are we doing on the white fir tree? Can we get the right white fir oil for people without making a negative print on the earth, right? And if the answer is no, you would be making a negative dent, or there's not a sustainable way to get it, then they actually will go in and figure out ways to figure out why the population of that plant is decreasing and how they can help to reflourish in places where it may be dwindling, right? So that's one of the amazing things. We actually, when I was in Hawaii for an incentive trip that I earned, we went out and planted sandalwood trees, and it was so amazing because they cut down all the sandalwood trees for cattle farms, right? And then I don't know what happened, but this cattle farm was no longer there, and now there's no sandalwood trees. The sandalwood we get now from doTERRA comes from the sandalwood trees that have already fallen down and are just laying like they were already down, and they've been laying on the forest bed for years, but the oil is still very rich. You're still getting the effects of it. So, but a sandalwood tree has to grow with 5 other species. I believe it's 4 or 5 other species of trees. So in order to grow the sandalwood tree, they also had to grow these other species. I think it was 3 other species actually, but they had to grow those other species to actually repopulate the plants. So when they say there's no white fir, I'm okay with it. And they gave us Siberian fir instead. So
I love Siberian fir as well.
Yeah. So this is going to be the one you're putting in place of your white fir.
It's intense.
Also helpful for the root chakra.
I love it. Is there any other oils also associated with the root chakra?
So yeah, there's cassia. Okay.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Oh, cassia is.
I'm gonna write that down. Because I love cassia.
You have to be careful with cassia though. With my skin, it burns. So cassia is like one of the most caustic oils. Cassia and oregano are both hot and spicy. Like
I love it. I love the tingle. I love a little bit of the tingle. I mean, I don't. It's on my skin.
Okay, but just let me tell you, because with doTERRA, it's pure potent, 100% pure potent essential oils. And we have to make sure that we're diluting it if we're putting, just because I'm going to tell you what happened to me. My first chakra class was an essential oil class. And they're like, and they were teaching off of this sheet. And this was years ago. And I didn't know that much about the oils yet. And everybody was just passing around the cassia. And we do like we do. We put a drop in the palm of our hand. And it was a class. There was one teacher. She was amazing. Her name's Sandy. And we were all like this. You know, over there in the corner, every single person was smelling it while she's teaching about it. I'm like, this is the life. I've manifested this life. Hey, this is amazing. But then all of a sudden, my face started burning. It felt like a curling iron on my skin. It was like horrific. And now there's this teacher talking. I don't know anybody here. And I'm like, I need to like interrupt and be like, yo, somebody give me some coconut oil. I'm burning. So I had to interrupt her mid like educational teacher speech and be like, yo, hand me the fractionated coconut oil now. It's like stat. And so it was a good learning moment, I guess, for everybody. I had like a Metallica burnt mustache.
Yeah, it can get painful. And to be honest with you, I don't use it by itself. I mean, I really dilute it, and it's with a combination of maybe 4 or 5 other oils. And I do what I like to call my winter blend or my holiday cookie blend.
Ooh, yeah. I could get some cookies vibes off of this cassia.
I just love how edible it smells on your skin. You mix it with like a little bit of ylang ylang and like some cedar and some patchouli and some winter mint. I really do. I really do like it.
I could get into that mix you just talked about. Listen, so now after that big speech, I need to go get my coconut oil in my bath. I'll be right back.
Is that what you did?
No, I didn't put it on my face, so I knew enough. But I still, because I'm afraid I might touch my face, I'm going to go put coconut oil on my hands.
Good girl. Good girl. She will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that after the oils, we're going to go ahead and get to talking about like foods and crystal. I mean, we did crystal. We're going to talk about foods as well, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited about that. We have actually next Wednesday, we have one of our beautiful, amazing witches will be coming on and doing
she's going to be doing a live stream of food for chakras as well. So she's going to be working on the root chakra, and she's going to be baking a bread, a beetroot bread, I believe.
Ooh.
Like the root chakra. Really interesting. I'm totally into it. So if you guys want to join us next Wednesday, Vanita is going to be live streaming food for chakras.
Oh, that's awesome. And going through the root too. So I love it. So cool.
It's about food. It's about the root chakras. I'm into it. I'm into it.
That's perfect. Okay, so then we did basil, cedarwood, cilantro, myrrh. So myrrh is like the oil of Mother Earth.
Another one of my favorites.
Oh, myrrh.
I love myrrh.
I don't love the way it smells. It's grown on me and I pull it a lot. It reminds me of like, I don't know why, but like plastic pool toys.
Interesting. You've said that before.
Yeah. It's so strange. It like takes me back to when I was a kid and I'd walk into a pool supply store. I don't know what it is about it. It's so interesting.
It's very woodsy.
Yeah, it really is. I love it. It's
It
very.
reminds me of wood shop.
Oh, I could see that. I much rather visualize the wood shop than and then we have patchouli, which we talked about. It's also very grounding. And then vetiver is fucking amazing.
And funky.
You don't like vetiver?
It's funky. I didn't say I don't like it because I like funky, but
well, that's not one of the things I love about the oils. They're different experience for everyone else. So I love to share them and talk about them with other people, because all you're getting is my point of view when I'm describing it. But there are other people who out there are like, oh my gosh, this is everything.
I absolutely love it, but it's a little funky for my taste. All by itself, I feel like I smell it and I'm not really a fan of it, but I want to smell it again once I'm done smelling it.
Oh yeah. I totally get it. It's like
a little love-hate relationship.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It comes from grass. It's like dirt, right? So once I think at first smell, I'm like, oh, what? It's weird. Like, and I was like, at first I was like, kind of reminds me of a peanut butter, like I didn't understand it. But then when I realized that it was a grass, and I actually like saw how they harvest it, like they pull the little grass out of the grass and then they put in another root, and they pull the grass and they put in another root, and you see like that dirt. And then they get the vetiver from Haiti, and it's also helpful for people with ADD. So it's, I love it, and just need to use
So
it
it's a
more.
grass?
Yeah, it comes from grass. So once I actually realized what, and this one doesn't need like the dilution as much. It's more just sappy. Oh wow, I love it. I'm in love with
I
it.
love sappies.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it so much. So yeah, that one is from Haiti, and very grounding. It helps with sleep and helps with ADD or assistance.
Put that
Remember,
on my list.
I'm not a doctor, just so everybody knows. And my
We're
number
not
one,
experts.
my number one strength is that I'm a woo. So you decide what you want to believe from me.
I like that. I'm gonna copy and paste.
I love it. Okay, so an underactive root chakra might manifest as neglecting of self, underweight, poor discipline or boundaries, depression, passivity, lethargy, chronic disorganization, fear of change, feeling of not belonging. So, whoa. So, when you say that it's the most important one, it is the most important one, because no matter what, everything is changing. So, if we have a fear of changing, like, we better get that shit in check.
You heard.
Yes. And so then they're saying for if it's underactive, one of the ones to help with that would be the cassia. It can be underactive and overactive at the same time, which is kind of
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that. And an overactive root chakra would be maybe overeating, craving, unhealthy foods, paranoia, nervousness, aggression, dominated behavior, addictions to adrenal. Oh, there you go. Adrenaline, not adrenal. Addiction to adrenaline activities, hoarding, materialism, material fixation, and they're saying patchouli for that if that's overactive.
Ooh, I love that.
And if it's balanced, you'll feel abundant health and energy, feeling grounded and settled, comfortable with one's body, sense of safety and security, happiness in your job, career, satisfied with material prosperity. And the way that it physically manifests, because remember I said whatever we don't address creates disease in our bodies. So you can just get constipated. If you get constipated, probably a reminder that your root chakra's out of balance.
Yeah.
Lower back, sciatica, issues with legs, feet, and knees. Hey, we got me and my girl Ivette checking in.
Yeah. Any urinary tract issues, any disorders with your skin, reproductive issues, all that. Like knee issues as well. I've heard that the root chakra is also associated with knee issues. So when I started to get a little bit of pain in on my knees, I was like, oh God, now I know exactly where to go. I know that I need to address my root chakra, and I can see why it would be a little overactive and or underactive, or both at the same time. Because I'm there's points where I'm just feeling like I can sleep for days, and then there's moments where I can't shut my mind off for some reason, and then there's days where I'm okay. So it's definitely an issue that I have to work with on my root chakra level. I haven't been doing my Kundalini. It's it's a combination of everything. When I stop doing my yoga and I stop meditating, it just starts to manifest, and my root chakra has been definitely challenging me, to say the least, the last few weeks.
All right. Well, then that's it. When can you do Kundalini next?
This weekend.
You put it on your calendar?
I will put it on my calendar.
Could you do it right now? Do you have your phone with you?
I'm an old school girl.
Sometimes you just gotta keep your friends accountable. Has everybody hydrated today?
I'll put it on my Witch's Date book.
Oh yes, I love it. You posted that one just the other day.
Yes. 16th and the 17th. Perfect. Kundalini yoga.
Do you have something that you use, or What do you do? You know, Kamal and Siri do that 11:11 or 11:15 every
Yeah,
day.
I do Carmelin theory sometimes, and sometimes I just kind of do my own thing from the teachings that I have
Perfect.
previously. But yeah, I just kind of do what feels right. I don't have any specific moves that I have to do before the other ones. It's just kind of, but Kundalini yoga is my favorite type of yoga, so it's my go-to yoga.
Me too. And
Yeah,
what I
I
like.
also have to change my diet. I mean, it has to do with like me probably not eating the best foods, and it's just all combination of everything. Like maybe not sleeping right, maybe worrying too much about my safety and my security and where my money's gonna come from, how I'm gonna pay my rent, how I'm gonna buy food, which isn't like I mean, to be honest, perfectly honest, I'm really not lacking any of those things. I'm very very abundant, thank the universe, and I have people who love me, and I'm who won't let me fall, but I can't help but to worry, and I can't wait to it's just it's work that I have to do, and it's root chakra work, so it
Yeah,
manifests, and I recognize it, and I just have to work at it.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's like that in hypnotherapy school. It's just all about those base. The root's also about the age. Like you must know, like the age, right? The ages that the root chakra gets, or maybe is there an age that the root chakra kind of gets developed, or
The root chakra, I mean, some people say it develops in the womb, and some people say it develops at the time of birth.
okay, got
So
it.
it is the very first chakra to be activated.
Okay. So
Mhm.
then all of those things you're taking in at the, of those ages really imprinting those subconscious programming in our minds. And so a lot of times, even when you have those securities, I can't tell you how many, I have a lot of celebrity clients and massage clients, but a lot of like actors and celebrities came from like they've had those times where they've lived in their car, or if they've been like, how am I going to survive? And now I'm sitting like in their heated toilet seats in their like mansion, and I'm massaging them, and I can feel that they still have that scarcity mindset, and I can
Yeah,
still,
absolutely.
and it's just like, and what can happen is that if we continue that thinking, it's that we have that's our limit, right? We can't create more abundance out of what we actually believe that we can create.
Yeah.
So it's a
And
matter of,
sometimes it's not necessarily our beliefs. It's just our beliefs that we are, that are just, being passed on to us from our parents and our parents' parents. Sometimes I'm highly abundant. I have no reason to be worried, and I have no reason to fear, but yet I am. And a lot of it is not just me. A lot of it is from my, my parents and my parents' parents not having enough, and
yeah,
living in that state of mind, and that got passed on to me. And I understand it. I
me
can see
too.
it, and I understand it, and I can feel it. I can see how it it creates imbalances in different areas of my life. It's not just my sleep, and it's not just my eating patterns. It starts to develop in many other ways. So it's sometimes it's not just us. Sometimes it's stuff that's been passed on to us, and it's our job to work through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's also in seeing it, having that, recognizing it, and just loving ourselves, like not beating ourselves up or being mad at ourselves for any place that we are, but to just like, just send love to that awareness,
Yeah.
and that, like, just like soothe it. It really brings up a lot of the ego stuff, right? It's like,
Yeah, yeah. A perfect affirmation for the root chakra is I am.
mm,
It's beautiful. It's I like to start my mornings with that sometimes, and I am, and I start with like I am, and I really start to get that sense of being.
mhm.
It's a good place to start, at least for me.
I like that. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. Were
Are we
you,
going to
did
be
you,
taking calls today?
I think so. If it
Do
does
we have
anybody
somebody join
chime in,
us today?
did you talk about food? Was there a food, or we already did that? Did we cover
We can
that?
talk about foods, absolutely. Foods that are associated with the root chakras, because this is a root chakra, would be any root vegetable, including beets, berries, dandelion root, potatoes, particularly um, darker potatoes like purple potatoes, red beans, red lentils, radishes, rooibos root, rhubarb, any type of red berry. All that stuff is really good for you, and it's all the stuff. I mean, before we went on, I came home and all I had was a big bowl of beets.
How do you
That's
make
all
them?
I wanted. a little bit of lime.
Mmm.
It's good to go.
Nice.
Yeah. It's root chakra, right? It's my root chakra saying, I'm hungry. Give me all the right stuff to me.
Oh, you're making me want to make like a beet salad, but I don't have any beets right now. I'm gonna put it on my grocery list.
There's always beets in my house.
Should we do a caller?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Who are we bringing in? It's gonna be Carmen, our lovely Carmen. Let's see. Is she ready?
Oh, we're getting it. It's happening. And on a
Buddy.
Hello, ladies. How are you? Can you hear me?
A little bit staticky.
Yay. Hello.
Hi.
You're gorgeous.
I'm trying to fix myself here.
You look beautiful. I know it's kind of weird.
Thank you. How are you guys?
Good.
Hello.
Hello.
Doing the usual, but now live.
Seeing us. And of course, I have the red lipstick.
I see it and I love it.
Thank you. You guys look gorgeous.
Thank you, babe. Thank you. We're just talking about different chakras. We're talking about oils. We're talking about tools and different ways that the root chakra can manifest. Is there anything that you can tell us from personal experience about, the work that you've been doing on your root chakra? Because I know that you've been working on the chakras as well. That's something that you started doing, right?
Yes, I have. I've been working on my chakras, and I was trying to work on my third eye, which is my intuition. And I realized that I had to work on my chakra, my root chakra, in order to open that one up. So I was like, okay, and this is perfect timing. So I think it was all just,
divine timing.
Being able. Yes, exactly. Divine timing. I realized that it is something that, I am being called for. And so, yeah, it definitely has, worked out for me following my intuition and working on my root chakra, which it has been this week. So this class has been very, very,
So what are your tools? Because I know that you also do Yoga Galactica.
I do. I love doing Yoga Galactica. I've seen Jennifer a couple of times there too.
Yeah, of course. Oh my goodness. It's like my church. I have to go.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It is the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after, because I know that you were watching on with us and you were hearing a lot of what we were talking about. And after hearing some of the things that we talked about, I know we were like all over the place and like ping pong. But was there anything that resonated for you or that you took from some of the things we said that you're like, oh, I need to apply this here, or questions that you have where we can elaborate?
Well, I wanted to find out in regards to the crystals, so that was very good information for me, and for my guests, because I have a guest here too, and she's learning everything. They say hello. She says hello. So yes, it was a lot of good information in regards to the crystals, because I realized that I do need to get that just for my protection and in order just to open that chakra and be able to, let it in and have it manifest, if that's what it is.
I love it. So now crystals are your tools to work on your chakras. Do you have other tools? Do you do meditation? Are you also incorporating oils?
I do meditation and I do use oils as well. So I do have a couple of oils that I use. So you guys were talking about the which one is the patchouli?
Patchouli, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I was able to show it to my guests. I was like, oh, smell it. I was like, you have to smell it. Yeah.
This is medicine.
Yes. I was like, smell it. I was like, meditate in it. So she's like, awesome. Yeah, I like that smell. Yeah. 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 So, and then I don't have the balancing one from doTERRA, but I have another one from, it's called the Chill Pill from another brand. And it's, got sweet orange, lavender, um, let me see, patchouli, peppermint, sweet basil, and Roman chamomile. So
Okay.
Love it.
I
Yeah.
was like, smell this one. I go, I don't have the balance. I go, but this is for relaxing. I said, so
For
smell
grounding.
it.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love it.
I said, let's feel that chakra open.
Yes.
So
And
Yvette,
she loved it.
how would you suggest like using crystals for helping to balance out the root chakra? What would you do with them?
I like to hold on to them. I like to carry them in my hand when I'm driving. I like to keep them in my pocket and my purse. I just carry them around until they no longer want to hang out with me. And then I'll change another one out. I can also put them on my yoga mat when I do my yoga. Like I usually have a couple crystals, and they're not always the same. Different ones called out to me. Just like to have a couple little medley of crystals, if you will.
Yes.
And that's another way for me. I put them in my water, like I told you, in my drinks, but not all of them are safe to put in water. Obviously, you'd have to definitely do your research. And I like to wear them on my skin. I like to wear them as jewelry. I'm a huge crystal wearer. I like to put them on me if I am laying down to do a meditation, depending on the chakra that I'm working on. That's another little trick that I learned from the lovely Raquel Natalicio. She's huge on crystals, and her and I got to working on the chakras. So that's another tool that she gave me. She just kind of likes to put some on her body, and
Who is
that's
that? You just
Raquel.
said? Oh my goodness. I didn't know.
I said Raquel, not Raquel.
Raquel, love that. So
That's basically how I like to use them. But I'm a huge crystal lover, so I carry them with me all the time. They're whether I'm working on a chakra or not, they're just with me constantly.
yeah. Carmen, so since you've been working on the root chakra the last week or so, what does that look like? Like how does that look? Did you mind going to kind of like some details about what you noticed, how you noticed your root chakra might be off, and what you did?
Yeah, I noticed that I was actually following certain patterns and certain behaviors that I kept following into. And I noticed that I've been cleaning kind of like my closet out for the past year. And so I've been working on my root chakra for maybe the past year. So I'm like, oh, okay. So it's become very easy for me to actually meditate now because I realized that I've been working on it all this time without realizing that I've been actually working on it. So meditation is actually becoming more easier now to me. And before it was hard. 5 minutes was so hard, So it was like I took a meditation class with Yvette, and Jenny B was there, and it was so funny because she knew exactly when I was being diverted in my meditation because I just could not concentrate, but little did I know that I was still working on it. So now it's become so much easier, with the waking up my smells and having my crystals and just being around people like Yvette and like yourself and Yoga Galactica, and so it's opened up and it's been much easier for me to surround myself with what I need.
Have you noticed have you cried at all? Has you like felt like,
oh my God, yes, in my first circle. In my first circle, I think that was 6 months ago, maybe, Yvette.
mm-hmm.
I think so. Oh yeah, everything resonated to okay. What
Your
was
first
the
circle
purpose
here
of
at the
me
Dragon's
being
Den?
here? Yes, at the Dragon's Den. Yes,
Yeah.
remember I cried. We were trying to meditate, and Jenny B was actually our priestess at the time. Yes, and I was just bawling, and I was like, "What is this?"
So beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was my first experience, and then after that, and now I actually I don't cry anymore. I'm like, okay, I'm getting centered. I'm getting grounded.
You're finding the balance.
Yes, I'm finally finding that balance.
Yeah, I think that's something that as you in circle, like it was just so significant to me to like, I visualize you there in circle doing the meditation, and how what's root chakra about that for me is that you're now with all these women and you're sitting in circle and you felt supported. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you felt supported. And so like when you get and with community, you get in circle, you hang with like-minded people. That's like also working on balancing out that root chakra, and you felt safe enough to actually release and to let go, because what you cried out was what you were storing in that feeling, like, you know, that loneliness that I talked about earlier as well. It's like
Yes,
Yes.
that self-worth, you know, that I was finding.
absolutely. Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's
Yes, thank you guys for having me in.
Yes, no, thank you. Thank you for continuing the work. Thank you for coming to circles. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for
Anytime.
sharing.
Thank you, girls. And
We
thank
have
you guys for sharing all this information.
Yeah, I
I
love
got
it.
you.
Yeah. So do we want to go ahead and swing it back to what we're doing here? Okay. We're going to have the lovely Molly help me out here
Okay.
with the little technicals. Yay!
Do we have any did we get any questions at the end, or was there any questions throughout the thing? Do we want to have Molly let us know?
Sorry?
Put it out now. There wasn't really any questions, but maybe somebody wants to ask some
If
now.
there's anybody who wants to, you know, ask some questions. So there hasn't been any questions. There's just been tons of really lovely comments, but no questions.
Okay.
Now I do want to get into the tarot deck, because that's another one of my lovely tools there. And I want to talk about the cards that are associated with the root chakra.
Please.
And we have the Tower here. Tower is definitely a card that is associated with the root chakra, is associated with not just endings. And people like to think of it as a scary card, but it's a card of alchemical transformation. And it's not just the card of endings, but a card of new beginnings. So when you start activating your root chakra, there's definitely going to be some tower energy being involved, and you will feel that some things are falling apart, but they're really just kind of falling into place. Another card associated with the root chakra is the Devil. And only because it just kind of represents a toxic behavior in some parts. It depends on what other cards fall before and after, but it's not necessarily an evil card. It's just represents toxic behavior, and it's something that can manifest if you have some form of imbalance in your root chakra. So we can be self-sabotaging sometimes, and that manifests in the self chakra. We are our own worst enemy, I would like to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another beautiful card that is associated with the root chakra, and I can see why. And then another card that is associated with the root chakra as well is the Emperor. And the Emperor is all about grounding. It's all about stability. It's all about safety. It's a very masculine card, but it's also very nourishing. So these are things that you can start to feel when you do have a balanced chakra.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Deck, that's nice. I only saw
quick.
Yeah, that Tower. It's a Cancer card. Would you relate? Can you do the chakras ever link up with like astrology?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Everything is linked with everything.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, I feel like the root chakra feels like it says it's earth, right? It's governed by the element of earth.
And it's fed by fire.
And it's fed by fire.
Yes.
Okay.
And do you know why?
Tell me. No, I want to know everything, obviously.
So when fire burns wood, it turns into ashes, which is representative of earth. So fire in return creates more earth.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a little feng shui analogy there for you.
I love it. You got to bring the feng shui in, girl. You are the.
It's just, like I said, it's just all connected. And once you bring up an element, I'm like, okay, now I know the element that destroys it, and I know the element that feeds it, and I know the element that subdues it. So you start doing the work from there.
Yeah. Wow. Do you have any examples or any stories that you want to share about feeling out of balance, and like maybe like a protocol that you did, like that you can feel like, like an example of like a personal story, kind of like of your chakra out of balance and what you did and how you felt after.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, tons of patterns, behavioral patterns that were manifesting in my relationships and the people that I was choosing to have in my life. And I think that that's all just a matter of not being in tune with your root chakra, of not having any sense of self-worth, or not feeling like you belong. So you just like really desperately want to belong, in a certain circle or in a certain relationship. And so you start, following these patterns, and, I realized that there was a particular type of person that I was attracting in my life. And that wasn't anybody else's work. That was all my work. I was attracting these people into my life. That was the energy that I was putting out. And I started by just kind of meditating. It came with meditation. Just sat with myself and started, grounding and talking to my ancestors. I've been doing a lot of ancestral work since I've met you, actually. And I've been trying to heal my lineage and all of the patterns that I see that it's stuff that's from before I can even walk.
Yeah.
And so for me, it really took a toll when I was introduced to Kundalini yoga. So Raquel brought me to Kundalini yoga class, and everything just kind of took from there. I was there's substance abuse that was involved definitely in my life. I wasn't in control of the medicine that I was taking in. And Kundalini yoga definitely brought a sense of awareness. I was so connected with my body, and I couldn't deny it anymore. There was just no denying it. Like, my body was kicking my ass. I couldn't continue doing the things that I was doing, or with the same eating habits, or, same sleeping patterns. All of that just kind of shifted for me. And so everything just started aligning little by little. And oils were introduced as well. And I think that was a huge factor as well, because I love smells. I'm a huge fan of smells. And I've been using oils, I believe, I'm going to say, for over 10 years. Almost 10 years, I believe. And it's huge for me. It's instant, and it's unlike anything else, because it hits your sense of smell, and it really just kind of does something to your brain. I mean, it's not just your body. It really is just kind of doing something to my brain, and it really is just working on another level for me. So I'm not just smelling oils. I'm definitely doing the work, like you said. There's emotions involved. So when you want to talk about chakras, and you want to balance your emotions as well, so that's very important. For me, that's where I felt the most work, when I was incorporating my oils and my meditation. Whenever I was feeling anything that was coming on that I knew that I haven't worked on, that I wasn't very happy to address, then I knew it was like, okay, I'm going to hit my meditation, and I'm going to incorporate my oils, and the combination of both for me. And sometimes I couldn't meditate because I'm at work. So I started doing this thing where I'd carry on a little pouch of oils, and I'd take them to work. And it was my thing. Whenever I felt like I needed to align, or I needed to take the edge, or just like bring on the edge, whatever it is that I needed to do, I would incorporate my oils. And I was benefiting from it, but everyone around me was benefiting from it, because everyone else was smelling it as well. So we created this really great atmosphere at work, where whenever I knew someone was just kind of a little off, we just kind of pass a little, I'm going to show you, we'd pass a little bag, and this is where I keep all my oils. And so I'd zip it up with all the important oils that I knew that they needed. And then I'd basically just kind of put it on their desk, and they'd do the little concoction. And then they would pass it down to the next girl behind me. And then we just, and I wasn't the only one benefiting from it. Everybody else felt like they needed a little dose, a little fix of that. So it's not just me saying I love the oils. I've seen it work on other people. I've seen it work on an emotional level. I've seen it work on a psychological level. It works immediately. Especially, I feel the purer the oils are, the better the quality of the oils. the quicker results, the better results, the longer results you are going to get. Because you're not just, like I said, you're not just smelling oils. You're going to be working on an emotional level, on a psychological level.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
I always say it's kind of like they're the support system. Like it's like, you know, you have to get to the other side of the emotion or the feelings or the thing. And it's like, we've obviously been repressing it and suppressing it for a reason. You know what I mean? We're terrified. And so like, it's just like a little dose, like earth or the plant where we all came from. And it's a little dose of that plant up into our olfactory system, up into our brain. You know what I mean? And it goes into that place.
Oh, yeah.
And it helps me to like pull up that thing, and it helps me, like, it's like holds my hand across the bridge to the other side of the emotion. It's like, it's okay to go here. It's okay to come through here. You know what I mean? And it's so nice because like I've cried more in my life and I feel so good. I mean, there's serotonin release in our tears. Like it's so freaking important to cry and to allow ourselves to feel our feelings, to get to the other side. And we're so afraid of them, but what we repress or what we suppress, like it persists and it will continue to come up. And hopefully we can address it when there's littler, smaller signs, you know what I mean? Before something really horrible, you know, can happen to us, you know? So I think that's beautiful. So did you notice after you've been doing all this Kundalini work and the meditation and the oils, how are you feeling now? But you recently have said that you feel a little bit off, and that's why you're going to be doing your Kundalini again this weekend.
Yes, it's my own fault. I haven't been doing my Kundalini yoga, and the combination for me of everything works. It's not just the oils. Like the oils help up to a certain point, but a combination of everything is just amazing. And for me, it's a combination of my meditation and doing my oils and just really sticking to it. And I haven't, so I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel the repercussions of not taking care of myself, of not doing the self work first, of not like tending to myself. And it's time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I do the self work, like I feel like when all this happened with the quarantine and stuff, and being such an extrovert and wanting to be around people and not getting to, and really missing like the conversations that I love to have, I realized that like I need to step up my game. I need to like pull in all my tools like never before. And I've been so grateful to be able to do that yoga every morning, you know, just a little bit, a quick shift, and breath. So that's another thing that I think I really want to like highlight. And I think we do have a question coming in, but I really want to highlight breath. So aside from everything we talked about, the most important medicine I think is our breath. Just like the most important chakra is the roots.
Absolutely.
The most important medicine is our breath. And when we get anxious and we get all stuck in these chakras up here, it's really important to like take that time to take the deep breathing. And that's another reason I love the oils. It just helps assist in the deep
It really does, yeah.
But if you
It
don't
encourages you to breathe.
the oils, like the deep breathing is really important, or the Wim Hof breath is a great one to look up. There's so many different breaths, but like making breath a part of your conscious awareness and working with your breath is one of the most healing medicines, I believe, of all time.
I agree. Breath is essential.
Yeah, it's the first thing we do when we're born and the last thing we do before we die. So we really need to know how to use that tool to like oxygenate our blood.
Okay. Yeah. What are other tools that we can see? I see Victoria's asking some ways to work on her root chakra. So besides the oils, you can do child's pose. There's yoga poses. There's mudras. This is a mudra that is really, really helpful. And so what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of the balance oil in my third eye, and I like to put a little bit in between my thumb and my index finger. And when I'm meditating on my root chakra, this is the way that I do it. And this is one of the mudras, but there's many. This is one of my favorites because it's cute. I like it, and it's simple.
Where do you put it? Where do you put your?
You go on top of your knees, above your knees, palms raised up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's one of the good mudras, and if you want to work on sound also helps. So the Sanskrit word for the root chakra would be lam, but when you say it out loud, it really should sound like you're saying LOUM, loam.
No.
So yeah, so you kind of start off with a little bit of an A, and then it ends with a low.
Low. Do you do it low like that?
Yes, it has to be very, very low. Root chakra. We're hitting that root chakra, so you have to just use
Like-
that low baritone voice.
Do we want to kind of feel it vibrate down there?
Absolutely.
Low. Oh, I just saw like a big red flash when I closed my eyes. It's like ding, 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 ding.
Ooh, that's all root chakra colors right there, baby.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that.
Yeah, I love the root chakra.
Me too. I think so. We'll continue to. We may possibly move on to the second chakra, but if we're feeling like we still need to talk about the root chakra, we can. We are going to next week on Wednesday have Vanita doing her root chakra
Yes.
cooking. It's cooking, yeah, right? It's what is she?
Well, she's gonna be working on food. So food for the root chakra specifically.
Food for the root chakra. Perfect.
Yeah.
So do we know what that's going to be yet?
Ooh.
What'd she say?
She said it might be
raw.
It might be raw.
Okay. And do we know what time it's going to be?
7.
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. 7
Wednesday.
o'clock next Wednesday. So we might want to take a break from the second chakra next Wednesday so that we can join Vanita with the root chakra.
Yeah.
That'd be a good idea.
We'll talk about it and then we'll get back to everybody here. We'll see how this, gets received,
Absolutely. And then if you guys like it, we'll talk about the second chakra, which is a Svadhisthana chakra. It's I call it the sacred chakra because it's a lot easier, okay? The sacral chakra, the second chakra. So that's going to be all about the power of partnership, how we begin to relate to others outside of our tribe, and how we explore our creative life.
Nice. I love it. Very good.
That's going to be good.
Very good. This was super fun. Thank you so much for
I
taking
loved it. Thank you.
And anyone who watched, we love you.
Thank you guys. If anybody was watching, everybody who was watching, I see a couple people here. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you took something with you tonight.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions, you want to have an essential oil conversation or an intimate oil conversation where we communicate about where you need support, I'm happy to just feel free to DM me at Jennifer Biondo, Instagram, Jenny Biondo at e.com or Facebook or the witches. You can find me. I'm easy to find.
Absolutely. And I will be doing chakra spreads for the modern witch movement for witch camps. So stick around for that as well.
I would love that. I'm excited. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Nice.
We can do everything chakras.
We can do it. All the chakras.
All the chakras.
All right.
This is so yummy. Thank you.
Should I leave first?
No, I leave first.
Okay.
Allow me.
Okay. After you, darling.
After you. No, after you.
I love you.
I love you. We said it at the same time. Ding.